Okay, so we can finally start. And I think we are also going live on YouTube now. So I'm going to request firstly all of you to turn on your cameras. Yes, can we have them back on? Adya, Kavya, and Sasha as well. Right. So thank you so much, first of all, you guys, for joining us. I know that, this is a busy time for you, but we're so glad that you could make time this evening to be here. And a big, big welcome to everybody who's also tuning in live on YouTube. So my name is Bhavya from Scholastic India, and I will be walking you through this evening celebration. And it is a pretty special evening for us. And I'd say it's not just, because we're launching a book, although that is exciting, of course, but also because we really want to celebrate the power of stories. And beyond that, also the skill and talent of storytelling, the effort, the creativity that all of our young writers have poured into this project. And I know it's been such a journey for them, and we're thrilled to be here to share that final result with all of you. So, the book that we're launching today is, and if we can have all of our participants hold it up for just a moment. Uh, so, the book we're launching today is The World of Woven Words. It's a brand new anthology featuring stories from 19 student authors from all across the country. And this book is the final beautiful result of an intensive but fun, engaging process, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But first, I would love to introduce to you two very special guests who are here with us today. So, first up is our chief guest, Ms. Shanti Anthony. Ma'am, thank you so much for being here with us. It truly means a lot, and to our authors as well. With your permission, ma'am, I'd love to take a moment to tell everyone a little bit about you.
Sure, Bhavya, thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, Ms. Shantini Michael Anthony is a seasoned educational leader with over 15 years of experience in international school administration. She holds a postgraduate diploma in business administration from the prestigious XLRI Jamshedpur, a Cambridge diploma in academic leadership as well, and is a certified global perspectives teacher. She also holds specialized certifications in Cambridge Early Years Education and Classroom Design. And as junior principal at DPS Nacharam, she has been very instrumental in establishing the full Cambridge pathway from early years to A levels and driving academic excellence. And under her leadership, the school has consistently surpassed international benchmarks and has earned accolades including the UN Global School Certificate and the prestigious Cambridge Innovation, Best Early Years, and Outstanding School Awards in the South Asia Cambridge Conference hosted by Cambridge International 24 and 25. And as you can tell, she is a very passionate trainer and mentor. And in her journey, she has empowered over 100 educators and even now continues to shape a globally competitive learning environment. And we're really honored to have you here with us today, ma'am. And I know your presence and your words will mean a lot to our young authors. So thank you once again for joining us. And there's one more person who I'd like to introduce to you all. I mean, of course, our writers don't need any introduction for her. She's the person who has been in the writer's room, so to speak, with all of these young authors. And she's the one who helped shape their stories, gave them feedback, asked all the tough questions, and I'm sure answered a bunch of them too. So here is our wonderful mentor, Sonakshi. Sonakshi Srivastav. She is a writing tutor at Ashoka University and the translations editor at Osawa Literary Review. She is one of the recipients of South Asia Speaks mentorship program, cohort of 2021, working on translating the Hindi novel Titli into English under the mentorship of Arunav Sinha. She was the contributing translator columnist at the Bilingual Window. She was also longlisted for the Singing Fly Translation Bursary 2022, and her works have generously been supported by the Director's Fellowship Martha's Vineyards Institute of Creative Writing, also Diverse Voices Fellowship of Stirling College, and Al-Kazi Foundation for the Arts. And her words may be found in Usawa Literary Review, Prosterity, The Monograph, Connect ASAP, and many more. She also dabbles in memes and zines and K-dramas in her free time. So that's Sonakshi for all of our viewers. And Sonakshi, it's so lovely to see you again. And I can only imagine how proud you must be to see the final book come together.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And for all of those watching, let me tell you a little bit about how we got here and what exactly the book entails. So, Scholastic Writers Academy is, as I mentioned, an intensive, engaging 10-day mentorship program that we run for our young writers. And over the course of these 2 weeks, students work closely with a mentor. They brainstorm ideas, they learn how to structure their stories, editing, revising, and of course, eventually presenting an original short story all of their own. And not just that, they also write their author bios, just like real published authors, which they now are. And of course, once the stories are done, our team at Scholastic steps in and brings them all together into a professional anthology, a real proper book with their name in print. And today, that's the book we're launching. And so far, we've had about 2,500 students go through this program and get published. And that is definitely a number that is, mind blowing every time, because to think that so many writers have so dedicatedly indulged in and honed their skills for this craft, it's very heartening to know and witness. And which is why, the celebration, because this effort and this sincerity, all of it deserves to be lauded. Right, so let's, without any further ado, let's get to the big moment. And Shanti ma'am, with your permission, I'd like to request you to officially launch the book with a few words. So if you may. Oh, I think she has some trouble joining. So we'll just give her a second. And we have two more people who are joining us, two more participants. Shanti ma'am, do we have you? Yes, I think we do. Ma'am, you're muted.
Yeah. Sorry, I got disconnected.
That's perfectly okay. So, ma'am, I was just telling everyone that we'll finally get to the big moment, and if you could share a few words with us to officially launch the book.
I think it's a great moment. I think at a time and an age where we are talking about startups in a world of finance, in terms of business, you're talking about scientific inquiry, and in every field. I think the world sometimes is a little partial and doesn't look at the great ability about being a literate in terms of literacy, the innovations and the achievements that students can have in the field of writing. But I think this is more and equivalent to any other achievement in any other field. So kudos to all the great writers and authors. I think you have, to choose this kind of a passion and excel in that with the help of Scholastic. I think it's a great startup in itself. So congratulations to each one of you on this wonderful journey. And being a part of Cambridge International at DPS Nacharam, we see how important language plays, whether you have to be successful in any field. And I think whenever we look at the authors we would like to read about, I think it's time the world needs a new vision and authors who can bring a new perspective for the generation of students who are reading now. So, and I think that's the idea you are sharing with the world. And I'm sure many more books are to come to you, and you're going to make a big name, I'm sure, in the field of writing. And as authors, keep sharing your journey. And I think that's an inspiration. for many students and people who want to write. And I'm sure you all are going to be great writers. And I would love to read this book and make it a part of my school library, and inspire. And maybe sometime I would love to invite all of you, maybe for a book reading session and inspire other writers. And Scholastic, thank you so much for bringing, giving the budding authors such a wonderful program through the Writers Academy. And I think that's very important. Just another line that today literature is also a connection to our culture. And with AI coming in and so many things trying to replace language and literature, writing books, and children spending that much time to write their own work, and make it happen, and transform it into a book is a big achievement. So I think that's a good thing, to tell students and children around that yes, you can make it happen without chat gpt and AI. You have the power to pen down and create something unique. So great work, so all the budding authors, and to Scholastic for bringing in, and also Sonakshi, great job. I'm sure it would not been an easy journey for you, but with all the smiles that I can see in the gallery, I'm sure it has been a wonderful journey to see all the hard work translate into a book like this. So all the best to all of you, and thanks for making me part of this milestone achievement of each one of you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and definitely a lot for our students to take away from, because yes, writing is something that pervades every aspect of your life, and it's very important to be able to properly develop that skill so that it's the benefits of it are applicable throughout all different avenues that you pursue. And also, yes, this is just a starting step for some of you. And I'm sure that as we move on, there are more books to your name, more works, and you would continue inculcating this habit of, writing within yourself. So, thank you so much for sharing that, ma'am. Sonakshi, I also want to hear from you about your experience of leading this workshop, working with these authors. How was it?
It was great. I think that's how I'll actually begin by saying. And more than anything, I resonate totally with what Shanti ma'am just said. It was great to work with them because they were writing their stories in real time. So just the idea of also seeing how a story comes about, even though it's like a work over 10 days, is really exciting, especially when it is coming from very young minds. And you know that you have to answer their queries. They're also extremely curious, and there are so many ideas just churning in their heads. So how do you just navigate those and or help them orient those is also something that is a very creative exercise. So I wouldn't say that I have to be on my toes with them, but yeah, I had my like it was really exciting in terms of I was all in. Like it was a deeply reflective exercise also for me. So it was extremely good, extremely welcoming and warm to work with them and also help them orient their imagination towards a specific storyline.
That's really nice to hear, and I think we'll hear more about that from our authors as well. But first, what I want to know from all of you is how did it feel to hold the book in your hands for the first time? And this is something I want to know from all of you. So, whoever wants to share their experience first can go ahead. I want to know the full details, where you were, what you were doing. So, how did it feel when you got the book into your hands for the first time? And if we don't have volunteers, I would be forced to start calling out names. And we don't want that, do we? Yes, yes, we do have one. Kavya, let's hear from you.
One of the best things to do is when you get like a new book, you open it and the smell of the pages of the new book, it feels nostalgic in a way that I'm just not able to describe in words. And when I was flipping through the pages just to read everybody's name and just to like read my own name on like hardcover, it just looked really nice. It just felt something really nice, like stars are falling from the sky, and just like everything is like all bright. That's how it felt.
That's a beautiful description. Thank you for sharing that. Who else? Akshansh, how was it for you?
So it was like when I came home from school, like the package came after like 10 minutes. I came home from school. So I was like, what has come? My mother did not tell me. She just hid it somewhere. And then I found it. And when I opened it, it was like, oh my God, it has come finally. And then I started flipping through the pages and seeing everybody's story. And I was like, wow, everybody has written such good stories.
That's nice. I love that the first thing you did was start reading everybody's stories in one go. What about Mira? Hi.
Hi. So when I got the book, I was totally unaware that it had come. So it was just such a huge surprise for me because I didn't even know that it was like a hard copy was supposed to come. So when I received the book, I was so excited. Like when I flipped through the pages and I saw my name, my story, the description of myself, I just like I felt a sense of pride and a sense of gratitude. And I was also really proud of myself that I had accomplished this.
That's nice. So the surprise for the book must have been surpassed by at least the surprise of the visiting card. And I think, Sonakshi, this is not something you might know, right? Did any of you use your visiting cards that you got?
I just handed them out to every single person I knew until they got finished, and then I decided to keep one. And like, I don't know, I want just to keep it for myself. So
Having a
they're all.
keepsake, that's very important, yes. But I'm glad you dispensed the others out very quickly. What about Sasha? How was it for you? Getting the book in your hand for the first time?
It's sort of a surreal feeling because like you see your story, you see what you've written on like a hard copy, like in a book. So it didn't feel real. Like I had an out of body experience with that. But you feel proud of yourself that, oh, and you feel proud of everyone else who's accomplished this, and you read their stories and you're like, wow, everyone's just so mind-blowingly talented. And yeah.
That's nice. What about Naisha?
Like mentioned by a lot of like two or three of them, when I opened it, I didn't know it was like our book. I just thought some other book I might have ordered, but then I open it and I see the cover, and I'm so surprised to see it. And then I flip through the pages and then I see my own story on paper. It just feels so different from seeing it on a Google Docs. It's like it just made it also real, like I have a published story and everyone here has a published story.
Definitely. And you know what makes it more special? I don't know if any of you had this experience. And Sonakshi, let me know if anybody did have that kind of experience during the workshop. But did any of you revise your story like to drastic measures during the period of the workshop itself? Was there anybody who did that?
I think there were quite a few with edits and revisions. And also, when they were narrating their stories to the class, a lot of ideas that came in from other writers. But is there anyone here, Naisha, Mira, would you like to
I,
talk about?
during the revision time, I actually did make a lot of major changes, which I was like so confused about, like thinking if I did the right choice. But then I feel that the changes really made the story a bit better than it was.
Right. And the reason that I brought this up was because, since you guys mentioned how surreal it must feel to hold the book in your hands, you know the journey that the story had, right? The story took, like all the different versions of it, and it finally coming out into this perfect, polished version, which I'm sure you would, in a few years' time, you would want to improve upon, of course. But all the different versions that it took to get there and in that final form, it definitely must be a very surreal feeling. And I think Kavya mentioned how it felt weirdly nostalgic, even though it had that new book smell. I think that's what it's about. Knowing that, so much, that book encapsulated so much of your experience during the workshop, knowing it on the inside, but seeing the final result in your hands, I think that has something to do with that feeling. What I think we haven't heard from Adya yet. Hi,
So the
Adya.
thing is, yeah, good evening. So the thing is, I had no idea that the book came. So when I actually saw it for the first time, I thought it was just any other book. And when I have a normal book, it feels like I'm so happy when I get one. But this time when I opened this one, and I was like, I was so surprised and shocked to see it was the one I had written, the story. So I went through all the pages and I was so happy, and it was so nice to see everyone's story. And then when it came to mines, I felt so proud of myself, and yeah, it was a really nice feeling.
That's good. Did any of you share the book with your classmates, your teachers? Is there anybody? I see a few head nods. Can we have some elaborations also? Akshansh, I think you. Adya as well. We'll go next. Yes, Akshansh.
Like so in school, when the book came, I took the book and the like the business cards to school, and like I gave one to every teacher I knew, and she said they wanted to read the book. So at lunchtime I gave them all the like one at a time I gave them the book to read it, and my classmates also were like huddled at my table to read all the stories.
That's good. What about Adya?
So the day I took the book to the classroom, everyone was literally crazy about it. I literally had to give out 30 of the cards to them, and the teachers, they all like, I also showed them my book and they were like really proud. And when I went to the principal, she was like, I couldn't exactly see her, but like there was a post in which she was reading it and she was proud. Like, yeah, it was really nice feeling like, and I was proud of myself for like doing that.
That's really nice because we did make sure to send a copy to each of your principals as well. So they would have also received that. Did anybody receive an acknowledgement from their principal or their library? I see Meera nodding. Meera, did your principal or your library receive the book? Did
Yeah,
they say
yes, my
anything?
principal, yeah, she received the book. She told me that I have it in my office. I'll be sure to read it because, yeah.
That's good. Anyone else? Naisha.
Yes, the all the teachers, like the principal told that he made sure to tell all the teachers of the school that Naisha has a published story from Scholastic. So it, yeah, the entire teacher knew, like all the teachers.
Oh, so you turned into a celebrity overnight?
Yeah, there were like so many people coming to say congrats, that's so good. That's like something to be proud of.
Good thing you had the cards on hand, huh?
Yeah.
Good, nice to hear. What I want to know is, all of you wrote this book and it's been a while. Have you continued writing since that time? Anyone? Yes, Sasha? What have you worked on since the time of the book?
I'm really into poetry, so like when I just get like a surge of inspiration, I just start writing, or like some short stories, like I write a paragraph and then something like that. It just keeps coming, that's why.
I think that's what the process is like for most of the time, right? So I'm glad to hear that you've continued writing though. Who else? Nobody else has continued writing since that time?
I feel like not as much as I used to because I changed the grade. I went up a grade, and like there was more pressure, more studies and everything. So I feel like that maybe slowed down of me writing, short stories. But there were always a few assignments in school, and I would always get the chance to do those. So I guess it didn't completely stop, but it slowed down for sure.
And I think that's key here because the main goal is to not let it go completely, right? Even if you slow down, even if you take your time, even if you get caught up in other things because you're adjusting to a newer schedule, what's important is that you continue writing in some, like to some extent or other, right? So make sure that you do invest in that habit with, like, spend at least 15-20 minutes in a day. If not possible, do make sure to set out time each week to be able to write. Right, so I'm glad to hear that at least it's not gone completely, right?
Bhavya, if
Great.
I may also just add, so this is just a word of advice again to the budding writers and published also now. I think what you said about time and slowing down is something that I think even when you grow up and are working, we tend to face this problem a lot. The key to handle this is, and to keep your imagination sharp, is just spend 5 minutes reading also before bedtime. It's extremely important for you to be able to keep up with your imagination. So even if you're reading for 5 minutes and just writing for another 5 minutes every day before bed, even journaling for that matter, I think it's going to be really helpful in the long run. So as a word of advice, don't let tests and academics keep you from writing your stories.
I think that is brilliant advice, because it's very important to look at writing not as a task that you have to get done at the end of the day, right? Because all of us write for the love of writing, for the love of the craft, right? So make writing something that is, something you're coming back to at the end of the day, something you're looking forward to, something that helps you unwind. Make it a, goalpost at the end of the day or at the end of the week, and not a, tick mark in your checklist of things to do. So I think that's a very important thing to keep in mind while you're approaching writing and you're trying to make space of it. Even in your notes app, whatever angry rants or, poetry you're writing, all of that still counts. I remember during one of our launches, one child has mentioned how uh, she hasn't written anything significant since the time the book got published, and I think it's very important that we take that, that marker out of our brain. Continue writing because you love to write. It doesn't have to be something that you have a goal of getting published. It doesn't have to be even presentable to other people. As long as you're doing it for yourself, that is what counts. Adya, I know you nodded as well while we were talking about this. Have you continued writing since that time?
Yeah, so basically, like, yeah, it is less than it used to be when I was trying to write the story. But like, whenever I get like a bit of inspiration about anything, I just write it down. Like, okay, maybe if I get some free time or something, I can just make something out of this piece of scratch, and it'll become something big someday, maybe.
That is a very good approach to have. Glad to hear that. Naisha, yes.
Same as the others. Because of school, I've slowed down. Like, I don't write that much, but I still write. I think I finished one more story after getting published, a short story.
That is good. That's great to hear. I understand that, having that time during those 10 days really made you sit down for those 2 hours and just get your writing done, right? That was a break that you were giving yourself. But make sure that you chalk out time during your day or your week and dedicate, if not 2 hours, as I said, 10-15 minutes. And writing is a skill like any other, right? Practice makes perfect. So, as much as you write, as much as you read, that adds on to your knowledge, your vocabulary, your skills. So continue writing. I think that is the most important. I Mira, have we heard from you? I'm not sure if Mira is still with us or Harika, because Harika, are you present in the meeting? I don't think so. It's okay. But yes. I am so glad that we got this chance to talk about this. Sonakshi, do you have any questions for our authors? Anything you're curious about?
Um, I think I would love to know more about any improvements or significant improvements in their writing style after their 10 days with the academy. Like anything that they seem to have worked on after spending 10 days on writing the story. And that has also continued to influence them now. Maybe some tips on revision, edits, being less careless, being more attentive. I'm giving away the answer, which I think I'm biased towards listening, but something that clicked after the academy. Yeah.
And I'd like to expand on that question a bit. Any piece of feedback, either it was from your peers or even from Sonakshi herself, anything that has stuck with you since that workshop and you have incorporated into your writing habits? Nothing seems to have stuck. I can see Akshansh thinking.
Among this lot, all of them were excellent critiques. They offered really good feedback in class. So I wonder what's up right now.
Any one piece of improvement that you saw throughout your, writing habits during the workshops as opposed to post it? Yes, Naisha.
I could say that when I used to write previously before this workshop, I used to use way too many dialogues. For every scenario, there would be a dialogue. Then I learned that you should add more description to your story rather than just letting the characters explain the entire thing, all the plot. You should add more from the narrative point.
That is good to hear. Also, alternatively, you can also explore playwriting. If dialogues are something that you feel drawn towards. But yes, I'm glad to hear that you're working on, your areas of improvement and strengthening yourself across the board. That's really good to hear. Anyone else? Meera, anything that has stuck with you since the workshop ended? From the workshop itself, any piece of advice, any tips?
I feel like before, when I used to write stories, even if they were like short stories, I never used to focus much on the climax or the conflict itself. It just used to be like, okay, it starts and then it ends. There's no such climax or conflict. Then after reading so many books, I feel like climax and conflict both are really important in a story. So I kind of work to improve those in my writing.
That's really nice. And I think one exercise you can pick up on is if you're reading any book again, you can work on dissecting the parts that are, purely climax and conflict and the different points of a story, rising action, falling action. I think that's a fun exercise you can do, but I think the definitions of fun for us and, would be very different as well. So, yes, just something to think about. Yes, Akshansh, have you thought of one thing yet?
Yes, that before like the workshop, I used to like if there's a word limit on a story, I would not be able to understand that word limit. I would just write beyond the word limit. Like once in the exam, there was a word limit of 200 to 300 words on a story, and I wrote like 2 pages over the word limit. Then my teacher scolded me. So in that workshop also there was a word limit, and I was not able to like think that how can I write this much in just 1,000 or 1,200 words, because I had a long story in mind. But then Sonakshi ma'am told me that we should try to compress the story so that we can tell everything in detail in just those 1,000 words.
That is one great advice. So, have you been able to work on, keeping your pieces concise since then? Were you able to do
Yes.
that?
Yes.
That's good to hear. A lot of adults can't do that. So, and I'm sure that word limit must have been a beast for all of you. Keeping your stories in the word count, I see a lot of head nods, some hesitant, some enthusiastic. But the fact that you were able to, edit your story accordingly and still were able to say it in, I would say, a more beautiful way, because it requires some real skill to be able to say more in less words. And that is a skill that all of you have picked up on, and that is a challenge all of you overcame. So definitely this just goes into, one of the extra things that you have, yeah, you need to be proud of after having. It's not just about getting a book in your hand, it's about all that you've learned, all that you've picked up through the workshop, even the bits where you are able to talk about your book and you're able to be more confident with your classmates, with your teachers. All of that adds on to it, right? So all of you should be very proud of all that you've achieved, and you should also be thankful to your parents for making this happen for you in the first place, right? Because as much as we can bring the platform to you and help you showcase your writing and your skill, none of it would have been possible without the support of your family and friends, right? Right? So definitely be thankful for that, and definitely be proud of yourself, because what you achieved is no small feat. There are very few adults who get to brag about being a published author, and the fact that you guys are able to do that at such a young age is, remarkable. So only consider this as a starting point for yourself. As you said, I think, Naisha, you've written a short story since then. This is just, the beginning. As Shanti ma'am also mentioned at the very outset, this is just a starting step for you, and I hope all of you only grow on from here out. So thank you so much for joining us. I was very glad that all of you were able to make time for this, and I think it was a very great conversation. Thank you so much, Sonakshi. Any final parting words for our authors?
I would say to remain curious. I think that is the only driving factor behind everything that you do in life. So just staying curious is the key to achieving, and in fact, just living peacefully and attentively. So, yeah, thank you.
That's brilliant advice. I'm stealing that for myself as well. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much, all of you. And I hope that all of you grow as writers and as people from here on out. Thank you so much. And best of luck, and goodbye, and good evening. Bye bye.